morning. Hey chicks, let's chat. So listen, this is let me just get into it. A lot of us as we get older, two things happen. Or one or two things or both sometimes. We start thinking about, all the shortcomings our parents had, what they didn't do right, what they could have done different, what they allowed that they shouldn't have allowed, what they should have put a stop to, etc. and so forth. You think in terms of that, and or you also think in terms of being more appreciative of them, and you start thinking about how life would be without them, or what's gonna happen when they get older, or if they get unable to take care of themselves, how is that going to impact your life? Will you be able to help them? Will you want to help them based on the relationship that you have with them? Are you going to come to their aid even if they weren't there for you? Because a lot of times what we'll find is that parents that have not been present tend to need the ones that they weren't present for as they age, or as they they come across something in life and they need you to come and assist now and then. You may be feeling like, hey, when I was in need, where were you? Or based on how you've treated me, like, I don't feel that I'm the person for the job. You should be reaching out to the person that was the favorite, or that you gave favor to, So it just depends on your situation with your parent. And a lot of times, like, I have a homegirl that she was telling me, that she can tell a lot of times the type of relationship that the parents and the child had, because when she had to make a certain phone call and say, hey, this is what's going on with your parent, a lot of them adult kids are like, yeah, you could call somebody else, basically. And that just kind of says a lot in that moment, when she's doing her job or whatever. But I would like to challenge you, especially if you're in a situation where you are, you just not feeling the way you were treated, and you feel like your parents coulda, shoulda, woulda, did better, did some things different. Let me just challenge you to, just maybe rethink some of that. Rethink some of it, and you may rethink it and come to the same conclusion and double down on it. And if that's the case, then I just say, let me challenge you to offer them a little bit of grace. And here's why. Not because they necessarily deserve it, but because the reality of it is that a lot of times we don't know what all our parents had to endure when they were coming up. We hear stories, and sometimes we hear stories. We don't always get the backdrop of what they had to experience. And what they experienced growing up weighs heavily on who they are and who they become, and how they present as a parent. And to share my own story is that I always, me and my dad have had a phenomenal relationship, right? Growing up, even to the present day. Like, that's my dog. You know what I'm saying? That's my dog. That's my daddy. He's what I need him to be in the moment that I need him to be, right? So, but I always thought he was me, especially when I was a little girl. Oh, who? Yes, he was me. And he was unavailable emotionally, but as a little girl, I really didn't need him that much emotionally. Shoot, I was unavailable emotionally too as a little girl, and sometimes still is as an adult, But I didn't need so much of the mushy stuff from him as a little girl. I don't feel, because I wasn't that much of a mushy little girl, you know. So good that I didn't need it, because he definitely couldn't give it to me. But I did start needing some of that as I got older, as I was in college, and I just felt like he was out of touch with me then. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, what's with him? Like, he's just like, it's like he's checked out a little bit, you know. It didn't negate any of the father duties that he did, but it's just like when it came to certain things, I couldn't tap in, you know. And I wasn't, you know, I treated him like any other man. Like, I'm not gonna force it. If I can't tap in just naturally, or you don't just open up, then I'm not gonna force it, you know. So as I started, you know, thinking about different things in his life and where he had struggles at and different, you know, I started realizing what it was. Like, yeah, you're a little emotionally unavailable. Like, and that's gonna be a problem for me and whoever else deal with you, Joker, you know. And it was funny because, you know, it's like he got 3 girls, you know. So at some point, all of us would need you to be able to tap in with us emotionally, you know what I'm saying? I was just the first one, you know, to realize that, yeah, he's not there. At least not in the way that I need it. Now, he may possibly be there in the way that my sister and them need, I don't know, you know, but for what I needed at that age. So then you fast forward about 20 years, you know, and as parents get older, like I say, some of them start opening up more and telling you more details about things that, you know, past traumas, past experiences, past this, past that, you know. And that's kind of what I experienced with my dad. Like, the older he get, he kind of started letting you into some of what was going on. And when they start divulging, listen, you start seeing like, oh, this is why. Like, I can't blame nobody. Like, when you've experienced this, and you know, wow, you know. And then I think about what, shoot, I said he was mean. Shoot, that was okay. You was just mean. That was the good version of what he experienced. You know what I'm saying? But it comes down to, you know, people can't give you what they don't have. And a lot of times we expect people to have everything that we need, and we expect people to show up in every way that we need them to show up, not knowing what they have. We just expect them to have it. We not knowing that, like, them people ain't got that stuff. Nobody has given it to them. They have not gone to seek it out on their own, and they are just void of what it is that we may need. And it may not even be that they don't want to give it to us. It just may simply be that they don't have it to give. And they may not even know where to go get it from to give it. You know? So that's why I just say, you know, give a little more grace, just because sometimes you don't know. And then you'll have those people that say, well, if they experience X, Y, and Z, that's all the more reason why they should have showed up for me this way. All the more reason why, if it was done to them, they shouldn't have did it, you know. And okay, you have arguments on both sides of that. Yeah. You know, like for instance, my dad, he felt like, you know, he had a bio dad and a stepdad and put them together, and he still really didn't have much of a dad. So for him, that was his driving force to be a better dad. Whereas you may have somebody else who they say, well, hey, I didn't have the type of father figure that I needed, so I didn't learn how to be a dad, you know. So it just depends on the person and how they navigate through their trauma, what they do with it. Everybody does different things with their trauma. Some people repeat the same thing over and over. Some people are just, you know, set that they're going to do something different. It just depends on the person, you know. So, you know, you may be in a situation where your parents have not offered that much of detail or intel as to what happened to them. Some parents, I feel, are still processing. You know, even in their older age, they're still processing what happened in life. They're still trying to figure it out themselves why they have adult kids and grandkids. So they may not be able to, you know, just tell you everything. They still processing life themselves, trying to figure it out. So yeah, you know, knowing that, because when my dad started telling me some things, I'm like, goodness gracious, like how, like what? And I was like, that explains a lot. Like that explained everything, basically, you know, to like my little stuff didn't even matter though, but you know, to be honest, like, you know, in that area what I was dealing with, oh, he was mean or whatever, like, yeah. So yeah, just remember that sometimes, and that can be extended to anybody. And no, I'm not saying extend that to dudes you dealing with and hoping to be with, or women you. No, I ain't saying extend that to them, because they need to do the work before they come into the relationship. You know what I'm saying? But I'm talking about the people that you are already tapped in with, that you don't have any option of not being tapped in with them. They family, they blood. You should be having some type of decent relationship with them, if you can, if you want to. Just try to have a little more understanding for the fact that you don't know everything. You don't know everything about them. You don't know, you know, what all they've experienced as to what makes them be how they are, you know. And that's good and bad. You know, when a person is being wonderful to you, you never question that. You know, oh, why they so good to me? You don't question that. Some of that is built through trauma too. Sometimes people are wonderful to you because they're doing the opposite of what was done to them. So yeah, you know, extend a little bit of more grace. Try to have a little more understanding, because it's needed. Don't